And welcome back to the Press Start Podcast. I'm your host, Vic, aka Mr. Never Chillin', and I'm joined today with my co-host, Roger.
Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry I missed last week. Great to see y'all.
And this week we're joined by Joshua Frisbee.
Hello, everyone.
What's going on, Josh? So if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, like who you are, stuff that you're into, playing and stuff.
Josh. I play games. I play a lot of strategy games mostly. My Twitch handle is lunatic_Yoshi. I'll write that out in the comments for everybody to see. Oh, never mind. Vic Safari got that up there. Cool.
Just had it in the wrong spot there.
When we got switched around when you had issues with your video.
I'm Lunatic Oblivion. This is the co-host, Lunatic Yoshi.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, definitely thanks for joining us this week. Definitely.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. But Roger, what have you been playing lately?
So I've been playing WoW Tuesdays and Thursdays. Started playing a bunch more Valorant again. I picked up Mountain Blade Bannerlord 2 again because they just released a new update, and that's been pretty awesome. I haven't found any game-crashing bugs again, so that's also been super nice. But other than that, nothing really new. I completed another ending on Nier Automata or Nier Replicant. I've now completed A and B. I'm working on C so that I can finish C, D, and then finish the new ending E.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what's up. What about you, Josh? What have you been playing lately?
Well, I've mostly been playing a game called Europa Universalis 4. It's about like 4X strategy game for those that are into games like Civilization.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also been playing a little bit of another strategy game called The Battle for Westnoth. It's more of a Fire Emblem style strategy game. I've also been playing, surprisingly, despite all the controversy, some Warcraft 3 because I just think it's an enjoyable game.
Yeah, no, Warcraft 3 is super enjoyable. Just wish they didn't actually flop on the Reforged edition, because that was really upsetting. I would have actually gotten it if it wasn't a dumpster fire.
I totally agree. How about you, Vic? What you've been doing lately?
I've been playing a lot of Valorant, as Stream knows. We've been playing that almost every day, it seems like. But I've recently just played and actually beat a game called Last Stop. It was on Game Pass. It was a lot of fun. It was created by Annapurna Interactive, so it was more like a interactive game, visual novel, I would say. Like a point and click, Telltale game. It was a lot of fun though. They had 3 different storylines, and by the end of the game, they all connected. And it was on Earth, but then by the end of the game, you're on this different planet somehow, and you're just like, what the fuck? It completely changed, and it really blows your mind. And I was like, wow, this is pretty dope. But that game was a lot of fun. I did start playing the game Omno. I played about an hour of that, so I'm gonna hopefully play that soon because that game only takes about 3 hours to beat. So I'm about a third of the way done. So I'm gonna hopefully hop back into that. But other than that, I haven't really been playing anything else. Yeah, so let's get into the gaming news we got this week. We definitely got a lot to get into. We're going to start off here with our big topic here. We're going to talk about the Activision Blizzard lawsuit, kind of what's going on right now. So first off, the executives is starting to block employees on Twitter, which I think is kind of weird. But Roger, what's your thoughts on this?
So, this happened about 2 weeks ago now. The president of Activision Blizzard was starting to block employees who were throwing sort of blame and everything towards their direction, and then we saw employees releasing inter office communication memos from the top down that were like, we don't support this kind of thing, and we will wait till the facts come out before we say anything on this. And it's like, you're not, they're avoiding standing with the employees who say, I've been sexually harassed or sexually abused, and they're like, we're not going to stand with anyone. And then people are like, well, we should unionize. And then you get things out of the unionization that they're like, no, we don't. So then they also called in 2 weeks ago the Amazon Union Buster team, which is here to pretty much kill the unionization effort that Blizzard's going through, the same way they did with the Amazon workforce. And now we see people, former employees of Blizzard as well, who are coming out. The Undead Labs founders are also coming out saying that we would like to see the unionization of all the gaming industry. They want to. A lot of people are trying to come together now because of this to create a group-wide game developer union, just like we have for trades, electricians union or things of that nature. They want to come together and create a union for everyone who's a game designer, so that the gaming industry can't continue to abuse and take advantage of these people. So what are your thoughts on this, Josh?
Well, to be completely honest, I'm not really surprised it's gone down this direction. We knew the kind of person that the executive, which I shall not name, blocked her own employees on Twitter. So it's kind of, she presided over the Iraq war, so I'm not really surprised that it's come down to this. However, I am surprised at how she managed to be hired. What kind of skills that she actually had before all that, which made them hire her. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me ultimately, but
business is business. They're going to hire people
business,
who have some oomph or political power. I think that might be the big thing we're looking at here. If you're somebody who's presiding over the Iraq war, you probably have a little bit of political sway. And if you get a political insider inside your company, that gives you connections. Because let's be honest here, schmoozing and connections are the only way to get ahead in life. And it's who you know, not how good you are at what you do.
Right. And speaking of power, too, I forget where they were talking about. I think it was Reddit, but they were like, apparently there was some inside talk going on where like they could literally just lay off their entire workforce and just relocate to China and just kill the lawsuit in general.
So the U.S. law wouldn't apply to them if they were to, say, sell Activision Blizzard or Blizzard, if they just sold the Blizzard section or the Activision Blizzard altogether. If they just said, okay, we don't want to deal with this lawsuit because it could bankrupt us. There's talks on Wall Street. People are talking about how if, say, they were to sell themselves to Tencent, which is where Blizzard's going already. Activision Blizzard's already heading in a mobile game direction. We've got Call of Duty Mobile, which we've talked about before. They've got Diablo Immortal. They're going for, these different phone games right now because it sells. If you want to make money in gaming right now, you make a mobile game, you add loot boxes, and you go to China. You'll make billions. It's a $1 billion economy over there for loot boxes mobile games. So if they were to just say, screw it, let's go with our two flagships right now, Call of Duty Mobile and we'll go with Diablo Immortal, sell ourselves to Tencent, run our company out of China, the whole lawsuit gets dropped because the company's no longer here. They just leave. And because of how companies work, you can absolve yourself of all responsibility. So the person who did these things, they would have to go through, and the employees would have to come forward and say, I'm going to open a civil case with this person as opposed to with the company. So Activision Blizzard would be able to dissolve all self responsibility by selling themselves to Tencent, which is a crazy idea, but it could happen. That's the crazy thing, and it also goes to show, Blizzard's always willing to lay themselves down. Like, you know, we've watched them just get rid of JL and Brack this past this past week or two. He's gone, and we've seen, now Coca-Cola and State Farm have pulled themselves from the Overwatch League. They are two of the biggest people in the Overwatch League. They're cutting, and then they're also cutting overhead now in Overwatch 2. I didn't even realize this, but when I had a conversation with my father-in-law, who's more business savvy and looks at the business aspect of the thing, he said, the development of games like Overwatch, for example, they only, it might have been from the top down. People outside of them are giving them ideas to change this team size. So I'm thinking Blizzard's just going to fold to the outside and just say, just absolve ourselves and move.
Right. Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, when I found out that even Coca-Cola and State Farm was pulling out, and like that to me is big. Like that's like a big monumental move with those kind of companies, because they're really known for advertisements and stuff like that. Like, think about it, Super Bowl commercials. Like, Coca-Cola and State Farm are like two of the biggest ones. Like, they spend billions of dollars for advertisements, and for them to pull out of one of the biggest esports leagues is crazy to think about. So like, and then from the other side of the coin, like from Activision, like, do they not see the impact that they're going to start having? Like, now you're losing support, now you're losing like funding and stuff like that. Granted, yeah, they're making billions of dollars, but in the grand scheme of things, like, they got to realize that what they're doing is poor choices around the world, no matter where you're at.
And the crazy thing is, also to remember, Hearthstone isn't involved in this. It's just the Overwatch League right now. And the Overwatch League, though, is last year a $27 million ad revenue, on Twitch alone.
Yeah.
So, if Coca-Cola and State Farm are pulling out, those are some big numbers right there.
Right. Yeah. So I just think Activision and Blizzard just need to figure out what they're going to do and make some changes. If not, like, the lawsuit is going to go against them, and they will lose. There's no doubt about it.
Honestly, the big thing that needs to happen right now is we need to see unionization. Like, unions are good and bad, don't get me wrong, but the problem at hand right now is unions would save these people from the cycle of HR protecting the company and outside HR firms being paid by the company to protect the company.
Right.
So the problem is they have these outside firms, but who's paying these outside firms? The company. So who's their interest to keep their revenue? The company. So it there's nobody there for the interest of the employee, being paid by the employee. That's where unions are useful, because the employee is paying the union. The union, their money comes from the employee staying at their job. If they can't stay at their job, the union doesn't get paid.
Right. Yeah, I definitely think it's really important to have a unionization in the gaming industry, because we talk about it all the time. It is the biggest industry in the world.
It's the biggest entertainment.
Right. It's bigger than movies, TV shows,
and guess what?
Music.
Movies. There's a screen workers union. There are already unions for all these other medias.
Yeah, why not games? Like, these people are pouring like hours of their life
60-hour weeks. 60-hour weeks developing games. They don't see their family, and what do they get?
Shitty end of the stick.
Yeah. What do they get? Somebody at one point said, you should be proud that your boss decided you were hot enough to hit on. Like, shit like that shouldn't happen in the office.
Right.
It's unreal that shit is happening.
It definitely comes down to having good morals and ethics.
Go ahead, Josh.
They discuss also the impact of the leadership on the corporate culture, and a widespread consensus agrees that there needs to be a change also at the leadership level as well.
Yeah.
What's coming from Bobby Kotick and the rest of Activision Blizzard management has only done nothing but further harm to their employees. I'm not sure how much unions would be able to change that leadership, but there needs to also be some accountability from them as well. And I agree, unionship is a big part of that as well.
Yeah, it gives the employees a collective bargaining power, which, luckily we did see a mass walkout at Blizzard. But the problem though there is that mass walkout, a lot of people are really upset on the internet because it diverged from the sexual harassment thing into a workers' rights thing. But at the same time, I'm going to fight those people who said that this walkout and their demands for the walkout. I'm going to fight and say that is the right way to go, because this was the straw that broke the camel's back. This lawsuit is the way for them to push forward workers' rights, because the problem is they have no representation. They have no HR representation, which is a huge concession that they can't. There's no reporting. What do you do? Sorry, the CIO touched my ass or said I was hot and said I should sleep with him. Okay, whatever. He's a CIO. Get over it.
Yeah, they should never be like
what is HR going to do? They're going to protect that person who pays them.
Right. Yeah, they're definitely going to just take the CIO and just fucking push it sweep it under the rug and just be like, oh no, it'll be all right.
And that has happened for years, and that's the crazy thing. So, and I think the other thing at hand is, looking at the disgusting group chats, for example, between Blizzard executives when they went to the Bill Cosby suite. That whole incident right there helps to kind of describe the mentality that these guys have towards women or people of the opposite gender that they like, or whatever their sexual persuasion is. It shows that they are out there they're out there only thinking with their second head.
Exactly.
So I think the problem at hand is with this, they've grown power hungry, and not power hungry, but mad with power. So I think nobody's holding them accountable because nobody can. They're the ones with all the power.
Right, and how about that? Don't quote me on this, but I believe I've read that only 20% of Activision Blizzard employees are female.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think that's very representative of all the people that play their games.
I agree.
Be a lot more women and LGBTQ people and stuff.
No, I 100% agree with you here. That yes, their staff isn't very representative of the people who play the game. But I think the other issue at hand here is, yes, we need everyone of all walks of life when we hire, but a lot of these people may have been from previous generations or time gone on, and whatever the case may be, how they got there or why the ratio is, but it's such a small ratio, and people are tied to their job. Their job becomes their life there, and they can't leave because they're working so many hours. You get it breeds with sexually repressed energy, plus this sort of misogynistic workplace builds into a perfect cooking pot for sexual harassment to happen and no accountability. And I think that's the big issue here. If you've got only a few women and all of this misogynistic undertones, it's really a bad melding pot going on there.
Yeah. So overall, there obviously changes just need to be it needs to happen and whatnot. So hopefully we'll keep everybody updated as this keeps developing and whatnot. But let's move on here. We got a bunch of gaming news, more positive gaming news. We got there's seven indie game developers that are teaming up to put on a new game showcase. A lot of these developers are responsible for games like Call of the Sea, which is a really good game, Paradise Killer, I'm not too familiar with, and Lake, but those are apparently three big indie games. The showcase is coming up here at the end of the month on August 31st. But Josh, what are your thoughts and expectations for any of these indie games that are going to come from this?
I'm excited because for me this shows that indie games to me are the future. We have a lot of these AAA game industries that continue to develop all these, they have $1 million budgets, and for the most part, I think they're kind of missing the point. I play a lot of indie games myself, so I think that it's really exciting that indie game developers are finally getting the love that I've always thought that they've deserved, you know. Paradise Killer in particular looks to be pretty interesting to me, so I'm excited to hear more news and information from their showcase.
Right. What about you, Roger? What's your thoughts on this?
So I've never heard of Call of the Sea, Paradise Killer, or Lake. Any of these games, I've never actually come across them, and I think indie games are one of those things that kind of get taken advantage of, especially with like Steam Greenlight and a lot of these other platforms like Epic Game Store. These people make these labors of love, but distributing them is the problem. And I think if we see more indie games coming together, maybe a gaming union and things like that, where people can come together and work together to get their products out, I think it really will help to turn the market on its head, because the problem in hand here is the gaming industry is getting very bloated, and we have all these big budgets, as Josh said. And I think the issue with these big budgets is they get so big, and then they miss the mark. They give us half-completed games. They go over budget, and there's just the direction is lost because they go and try too hard. There is no love anymore in the games that were getting made. WoW, the love had disappeared from World of Warcraft since Burning Crusade. Like, let's be honest here. Like, sorry, Wrath of the Lich King. That was the last good one. The love from WoW, for example, has been gone for a long time. Diablo, the love left after Diablo 2. Let's be honest here. Diablo 3, they were like, let's build the hype off of Diablo 2. Let's build the hype. They wanted Diablo 3. Here you go. Oh God, it's hot garbage. But guess what? People still buy it. Just like Call of Duty. We talk about how bad Cold War multiplayer is. We talked about it for months last year. And we were like, but I still bought it and I still played it because it's Call of Duty. And I think that's the issue. So I think seeing these 7 indie games coming together to make an indie game showcase, I think this could be the future for indie games, because Microsoft, yeah, they're trying to help these indie games come out, but I think this is a chance for them to say, no, this is our show. Come check us out, not Microsoft, and then us.
Right. Yeah, so from the article here, it does, these are quotes from, I guess, the heads of these indie studios. They're aiming to promote an environment that is centered around the sharing of knowledge between publishers rather than cutthroating the competition, which makes sense because, like, we get a lot of innovative games or game features or game mechanics from indie developers. And you imagine just collaboratively working together to potentially just share thoughts and bounce ideas off of one another. Like, it's only going to push gaming to that next level. It is really going to enhance it. But you are right. The distribution of indie games is hard. And for them to be discovered and whatnot. And I think Microsoft is probably one of the very few who does it probably the best, I would say, because, like, most indie games are allowed to be on Game Pass. So Game Pass is already going to increase the discoverability on those games that were probably going to go missed, on especially on the Xbox consoles. And granted, Game Pass is on PC, so that's good as well. But Xbox also hosts ID at Xbox showcases specifically for them. So
Yeah.
at least there's some companies that are trying to push these indie companies. But this is exciting, though, to see that there's 7 big company indies coming together to have a showcase of their own, to say, hey, we can do this without that big publisher, without that big company trying to showcase our games.
I think that's important because, like, we all know how many EA studio, like EA, how many studios they bought and shut down, and all that knowledge, all that passion, the creativity of these early 80s and 90s games, early 2000s, that just disappears. And I think being able to say, we're going to collaborate, work together, we're all here to make games and we're not here to just destroy each other, because people will buy as many games as they want. We don't need to buy all these old games and try to reap the money off of these old studios. Like, I think the important thing here is to be able to collaborate, because EA, for example, bought and shuttered 14 studios from the year 2001 to present. That just goes to show, how much we could have out there, how much awesome knowledge is lost and just gone.
What's your take on this, Josh? Anything else?
I was gonna say regarding indie publishers, like what we're seeing at the new game, at the new game showcase is just a small fraction of how many indie games out there actually exist. What you see from Game Pass is a small fraction of what exists. What you see on, the Switch store, on iOS shop and Android, all that stuff is just a small fraction of what actually exists.
Mm-hmm.
You can go out there, and I think that there's a very good chance that you can find indie games specifically suited for your needs and interests, which is the thing that matters most to me. I'm not looking for, big game developers trying to appeal to the least common denominator, to the average, ordinary person and gamer. I'm looking for something that's specifically tailored to me and my experiences, So I think to be honest, I wouldn't care much if indies were acknowledged or not, because the thing that matters most to me is that indie games have changed the way I play games, and they they are specifically dedicated to my needs and other people's needs as well.
Yeah,
No,
definitely. He hit it right there on the head for sure with that.
And I think the important thing to also take into account here is the single biggest selling game in the world was an indie game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, it was an independent studio that made one game and only one game, and it's the most sold game in the world by almost double. Yeah, by one guy, just one guy in his apartment made Minecraft, and you know what? Honestly, if I say Minecraft kind of went downhill after it got bought by Microsoft, but it's the thing to take into account here. I think is if these indie companies keep getting bought up and can't really present what they have, the new ideas, the things they have, it's going to get stagnant. It's
yeah,
it's going to be like the movie industry. Let's be honest here.
Just to clarify, Minecraft is number 2, by the way.
Oh, what's number 1 now?
It's always has been. It's Tetris.
Oh, because
okay.
They separate out Tetris based off of which version it is.
Oh, yeah. Well, according to even like IGN, like Tetris like combined has sold over 500.
Okay.
Games. But Minecraft has sold over 200.
That was an indie game too, Tetris.
Yeah, and then it got bought out and just resold over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But even till today.
No, I think it's really interesting, but I think we should move on here to the next topic. So, Insurgency Sandstorm, a game from 2018. They've decided to put it on console. What are your thoughts?
I think this is pretty crazy because, like you said, this was released on PC about 3 years ago in 2018, and it just kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed for console, and then they were just like, yeah, we're just going to delay it indefinitely. But then they come out of nowhere and they hit you with the, hey, we're going to release it on Xbox One and the PS4 September 29th of this year. So I was like, oh, okay. This game completely fell off my radar. I forgot this game even existed because I personally just got into PC gaming, so I would have missed this a long time ago anyway. So now that it's coming on console, yeah, that's exciting, but maybe I can even check it out on PC first. But the fact that it is coming out, it's cool to see. So hopefully all those delays for 3 years long has a big impact for the game that's going to come out on console. Because I personally don't know how it was received on PC. I do remember hearing about it.
Does.
Yeah, so I mean, overall it's a good game. Maybe it can be a Call of Duty competitor, especially on the console. The console doesn't have a lot of good shooters. Like, I would love if Valorant was on console. That would definitely compete with Call of Duty
easily
on the console, because I'd rather play Valorant every day since I got good at it than Call of Duty. I hate Call of Duty now. Like, until they fix the hackers and the cheaters and stuff like that on Call of Duty, I'm probably not going to play that for a while. But nonetheless, this is pretty cool though, that you can pre-order the physical copy of Insurgent Sandstorm at retailers and whatnot, and it comes out in about a month. So it's pretty cool. I'll check it out.
As someone with a background in first-person shooting games, playing a lot of Halo and Call of Duty back in the day, I still really like Call of Duty, but I'm kind of looking for something new. So Insurgency Sandstorm looks pretty exciting to me.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I think it's interesting that it took this long to get it onto consoles. Maybe next gen delayed it, maybe the pandemic, whatever their excuse may be. It's almost 3 years in the making just for consoles.
Not including
So,
before it got delayed for the first time, because it was supposed to
yeah,
come out in 2018. So it was
yeah,
probably in production 2-3 years before that as well.
yeah, exactly. So, next big thing we got coming on here is Back for Blood. Josh, have you ever played Left 4 Dead?
No, but I've seen plenty of Let's Plays, plenty of streams, and I gotta say that I wish I could play it.
You wish you could play Left 4 Dead?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you should
I wish
think
I
about
had
getting into
friends that
this.
would play it with me, which you guys would do that, yeah.
Yeah, but the people who made Left 4 Dead are now making a new game called Back for Blood. It's not called Left 4 Dead because they sold the rights to the name, but Back for Blood is coming out here. The closed beta just passed, and it was so widely accepted. 100,000 people were in the closed beta alone.
Playing at the same time. Playing at the same time.
At the same time in a closed beta. Now wait till it goes open.
Which actually it just opened up on the 12th or the 13th.
Yep.
I didn't get they haven't released those numbers yet, but
yeah,
once they
we'll
do,
get those
I'll
numbers
get those.
shortly.
But,
I'm a big fan of asymmetric multiplayer games, and Left 4 Dead is one of those games that have always done it right.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for this. And watching the gameplay, they've really taken the kind of cartoonish look of Left 4 Dead and pushed it into that realism. Now we've got that hyper-realistic looking freaking shooter, and it's going to be on 4K on consoles, and it's going to be 144 frames. I'm excited for it on PC. Honestly, I'm going to probably play the crap out of this and drop Valorant for some time.
The good thing is, like we talk about it all the time, it's coming out on Game Pass. So I'm a huge advocate for Game Pass. So it's going to be great that I can pick it up on my PC. I can play it on my Xbox, or even if I want to, if I'm at work and I just want to run through a mission, because I'd be playing my game at work too, right on the computer with the xCloud streaming, which we're going to get into here soon. So it's going to be really cool to check this game out because I was a huge fan of Left 4 Dead. I didn't play it a lot, but when I did, it was fun. It was always fun. It was hectic, chaotic. You were like, "Oh shit, we got to get here. We got to get to the safe room." Blah blah blah. But like they're with the new card system where they're like randomly generated cards, like every playthrough, every round or whatever. Like it's going to be it's a way to change up the gameplay as well.
And I think the card system is just a new way of making the randomness more shown, because Left 4 Dead has always been random. They've always had randomly generated events. They've placed witches in different spots. A tank appears now, and you're like, oh God, why right now with a witch active? So I think this is going to be a really fun game. I'm super excited for it, and I'm probably going to pick up the open beta this week and try it out.
Yeah, I'm definitely down.
I think it's significant new IP for Valve, for their Steam platform. It's a nice way for Valve to really get more exposure in the market.
I mean, but aren't they? Well, it's not even by Valve. It's it's the publishers.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Warner Brothers is the one who has
Warner Brothers, yeah.
Warner Brothers is the publisher. So I think this is interesting that it's being developed by Warner Brothers as a publisher.
Oh yeah.
Warner Brothers alone has a lot of games that are coming out over the next couple of years. With Back 4 Blood coming out, they got the Kill the Injustice game that's coming out. The Harry Potter Legacy Hogwarts game, whatever that's called, that's supposed to be coming out.
Mortal Kombat's theirs.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat's still theirs. They got another DC game coming out. It's the one with like Batman's dead and all his like sidekicks team up together.
Yeah.
So that'll be pretty good.
Based off of Batman Comics 666, where Nightwing, Robin, they're in feuding, stuff like that. No, I'm super excited for this game. So, but moving on here, the Xbox update. This is something more for you, Vic. You want to take us into this one?
Yeah. So first off, we'll skip the first part of it here on our list, but we'll talk about Forza Horizon 5. They had like they released like a bunch of new content that's coming to Xbox soon, and of course we have Forza Horizon 5. It's around the corner, and it was probably the most beautiful game we saw at E3. And to see this though, like how big the map is just blows me away. And I was just like, man, like coming from playing Forza Horizon 4, like this map is even bigger than that. And I feel like that map was huge. So I mean, the game looks beautiful. They released some more gameplay from it as well. So it's just like it's a hyper realistic game. It looks like I'm playing real life. Like it looks really good. So I'm really excited for Forza Horizon 5. What's your take on this, Roger? I know you're excited for this game too.
So, with Forza Horizon 5 coming to PC Game Pass as well, I'm super excited because I've always been late to the Xbox party, whether it was 360, Xbox One. I've always been late getting the console because I really just didn't have the money and time, and I've always missed the Forza hype, and by the time that I got the console, it wasn't worth buying Forza anymore. So for me, I think this is exciting because I'm looking for a racing game because the new Need for Speed stuff that comes out every so often, trash can. Straight dumpster fire. Okay? I'm excited for Forza. This looks good. This looks clean, crisp. I hope that I can play it like on really good settings on my computer. I'm just all around excited, and the map looks awesome. There's so many different zones to be had. Josh, have you ever played Forza?
I believe I played a game for the Xbox 360. Was
Okay.
there a Forza game for the Xbox 360?
Yeah, they had
Yes, sir.
Motorsport and the first two Horizon games, I think, were on that one.
Yeah. My
Yes.
father had one of those and I played it. And I've always been a fan of racing games. I haven't been playing them recently, but, you know, they're part of my game background. I always feel like I could go back into them if I really wanted to because they're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I really like driving cars and trying to race to be first place, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I've always really liked like super sports cars and muscle cars and stuff, which
Okay.
games like Forza and Gran Turismo and Need for Speed really make really pretty. So
Yeah,
Right,
no,
exactly.
I agree. I'm super excited for this game. The map is just downright awesome.
And the game's right around the corner too. I think it's November's release, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah.
another thing from this update, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is getting a Xbox Series X and S enhancement. It's bringing ray tracing to both of the consoles up to 4K resolution, 120 hertz, and updated like materials, particles, and whatnot. So this is super cool. I highly recommend this game if nobody has played it. It has like an interesting kind of horror because it's not really horror. Because this game is basically telling the story of someone who has schizophrenia. So like you're kind of living her life and dealing with what she would go through in her mind and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So it's a really good game. The story is beautiful. The game even looked good on the Xbox One already. So the fact that it's basically going to get the X and S treatment. So it's a really good game. It's on Game Pass as well. Game Pass is great. So much content, so many games, so many great games to play on there as well. Have you guys, either one of you guys, played this game yet?
So I have not. But I've seen it. It's one of those titles that was a big thing. It was a big thing for Xbox One, I know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what, 3 years old now? 2018?
I believe so, yeah. And
Yeah.
there's a
So,
sequel coming out too here soon. Hopefully next year.
that's probably why they've released this next
Mm-hmm.
gen update then
They're
to
getting
really
everybody
kind
ready.
of try to get it back in everyone's mind as fresh, you know. So it looks interesting, but for me, I'm not really playing on console, so I'm probably not going to get to play it at all.
Yeah. I mean, but you could probably push the settings on your PC anyway, so this isn't big news for you per se, but if you want to play it, you could
Yeah.
definitely probably push the limits on here. But what about you, Josh? Have you played this
Yeah.
game at all? Or does it pique your interest if you haven't?
the game looks pretty dark, and I'm uh, the psychological horror and stuff.
Hmm.
And I feel like I don't really have much of a background in those sorts of games, but it's something I've been more interested in as I've grown up. So
Yeah.
I do have an Xbox One. Um, I feel feel like if the game ever were to become free, I might give it a try because it looks like something I could get into.
Hmm. Well, hey, I have it on disc for Xbox One as well. If you want it, you can borrow it at any time.
Oh, cool.
No excuses here. Got a Game Pass. You got
Yeah,
me. There's
here you
definitely
go.
options. But another game though that was up talked about was the Humankind. Day one is coming to Xbox Game Pass for PC. This is more of like a strategy game and whatnot. And Roger, I know you're big into these, and I think Josh, you are as well. So Roger, what's your take
Yes.
on this?
Oh, yeah.
Well, this is actually a thing for me and Josh, to be honest. So this is by Amplitude Studios, and the game actually came out, is coming out, or did it just come out? No, it comes out in 2 days. Humankind, it's Amplitude's newest game, and I'm really hoping that this game is going to be good from the get-go, because the problem with Amplitude, some of their games are kind of hit and miss for me. But this looks like just like it is a exact clone to me of Civilization. It's an exact clone of Civilization, but with the backbone of like Endless Space 2. You know, you've got each province provides technology, manpower, culture, money, food, and resources, and it's kind of that just 4x grow your civilization. So for it to be coming day one to Xbox Game Pass is huge to me, and for it to be on PC day one, that's awesome, because this is a game that I actually put on my wish list. I thought about getting it, but now that it's free because I have Game Pass, I'm gonna play the shit out of it on PC probably this week. I am going to get in so much trouble this week just not doing anything but playing it. And it comes out on a raid night too, so...
Uh-oh, you got to pick your
Oh,
poison.
yeah,
Yeah, so what about you, Josh? You're a big fan of Endless Space, aren't you?
No, I've actually never played Endless Space.
Thought you played Endless Space, only Stellaris?
Yeah, only Stellaris, so... I mean, I have played Civilization. Civilization, I haven't really gotten into that series of games as much as I've gotten into Paradox's world building 4X games. So, but I might be willing to give a game like this a chance, though, because there's always that chance. There's even in games that are described as clones, Saints Row versus GTA, can end up being as good or even better than the games that they're allegedly based off of or inspired by.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And this game could be, as long as it steers away from some of the bad elements, I think, of the Endless series, I think this could be really good, So I'm excited.
Yeah, so for those who don't know what this game is, Humankind, I'm just going to read it here right from Xbox's page, where they describe it really well. Basically, it's convergence of culture, history, and values that allows you to create civilization that is unique as you are. You will be rewriting the entire narrative of the human history from its humbling beginnings, starting in the Neolithic era. So then you set off, leave the biggest mark on the world. So that's pretty cool. Like, you're literally just going through human history, and just like you could make any change or whatever, like the events and stuff like that happens in history to make it yours. So that's pretty cool.
I think the important thing to keep in mind here for our viewers is a lot of these games are typically randomly generated as well. So you're not going to be playing on Earth, and you'll probably get to play with characters that have existed before, but also being able to create your own civilization, I think, is a huge part of why this game appeals to me, because Civilization 5, for example, you don't get to do that. You get to create your own religion, but that's about it. You have to play. Oh, you have to play as Gandhi, or you have to play as Teddy Roosevelt. You have to play as somebody that existed in history, and then it's all randomly generated if you want it to be. So I think this is going to be a big game for just really playing through history with your own sort of flavor to a civilization.
Right. So a couple more things here with the Xbox update. They did announce that Xbox Cloud Gaming is going to be available through the Xbox app on PC for any of the people that are part of the Insider program. So it's pretty cool. So if like you don't, I don't know, like it's an interesting take because like you could already go to like xbox.com/play to play it,
Mhm.
but now you could. It's I guess it's going to be kind of like built in through the app as well. So like they're just giving multiple ways. Like there's not going to be a not a way to be able to play games or Game Pass in general. Like they're making it available to anybody and everybody now at this point. So like that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. But
It's if your computer can't play it now
yeah,
you can
just
stream
stream
it.
it because we have
It's
computers and we're
just
good at
right from the Xbox app. So it's on Game Pass, but my computer can't run it. Stream it.
Right, and that's the thing. I also think the cloud gaming available through Xbox, actually, if I'm not mistaken, allows you to also play games that are not on Game Pass. So like any games you own digitally as well, or like from the
Yeah.
Microsoft Store. So this is cool because the other way I was mentioning, if you play through Xbox.com/play, you can only play games that are on Game Pass. So
Yeah.
it definitely gives you other reasons. But one last thing though with the Xbox update, I guess they're bringing like a night mode to the console. This is to me a head scratcher because I thought it already has it. I put it on dark mode already, so I don't know. So I guess there's a different one. I guess you're going to be able to adjust like the blue light sensor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that'll be pretty cool.
It's going to be geared more towards so there are apps out there now that change blue light to yellow light on your screen and monitors so that at night you're not burning your retinas out. So I think what it is taking a PC feature we already have from third-party apps and applying it to an Xbox so that dark mode exists, but it's still blue light. You're still getting blue light.
Right.
So now they're going to help change that blue light into a yellow light.
Right, which is pretty cool because Microsoft manages big into accessibility and just helping like everybody and anybody who may have bad vision or like struggle with like burning their eyes too much, like, or I don't know, like instead of like having to wear glasses, you could just adjust the setting because maybe wearing the glasses with a headset it starts to bother you or irritate you and stuff like this. So just adjust it on the screen as opposed to wearing a actual peripheral. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But let's move on here. We got a little bit more topics to get to. Kind of circling back here to Activision and Blizzard. In a way, Diablo 4's director is leaving Activision and Blizzard. My guess is
it's
probably
not only his director. There's two people that it's huge. So both the director Louis Barriga and Jesse Mccree, which is the creator of some stuff from Overwatch as well. Yes. Jesse Mccree, the namesake for Mccree from Overwatch, they are both leaving. That is one of the lead designers and the lead director of Diablo.
Mccree, again, don't quote me on this, but I believe he has actually been named in the lawsuit as one of the defendants.
It might have been, and that goes to show why he probably left. And this also had followed the resignation of J. Allen Brack, and then the Jonathan LeCraft leaving as well. So we are seeing a mass exodus at this point. So what are your thoughts on the Diablo 4 now that they lost their director and one of their lead designers?
Blizzard, for its part, issued a statement basically saying that they still have plenty of talent in the working for them, and whoever's like, it's not going to burden them on their future releases for Diablo 4 or any of their franchises. They're still going to be releasing content, and it's not going to be hugely impactful for their overall design direction moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah, so I also think this could also have a bigger impact too, and just in the gaming industry as well, because we talk about it all the time. There's a bunch of new developers, new like being created and stuff like that. So all these people that are leaving these big companies and stuff like that can go to these new companies as well and take their knowledge in their craft and implement it to a new studio as well. That's not going to abuse them and stuff like that. So I'm looking at it as a positive way as well. Not necessarily for Activision and Blizzard because they're probably losing a lot of great talent. Now these other studios are going to be able to get good talent as well.
No, I agree. I definitely it's just more writing on the wall for me. Because if you're losing your director, this is somebody who probably has a lot of attachment, direction, somebody who's helping to form this game. But now, if he's left, it's just going to become more marketing and business style people probably that are going to be coming from the top down. We've lost. There's only about maybe 5 people that were around for the beginning of Activision Blizzard who are still at the company. There's only like 5 people left. So it's pretty much an entirely new company with new direction, and I think that is where we're going to be seeing this problem. So I wouldn't be surprised if this week we hear of more resignations or maybe a business direction to sell. So
Right. Nonetheless, let's move on here. We got a couple more topics. This one I haven't played yet, but Mario Golf Super Rush is adding like ranked matches, new characters, and a new map. Roger, do you have the game? Have you played it yet?
yeah, I played the
Yeah.
crap out of it, and Josh came over and played it too. We played it before D&D a few times. It's honestly on launch for me. Anyone who complained about it not having enough, I think I would disagree with you. There was a great story mode. I haven't beaten it yet. I enjoyed it. There was enough courses to satisfy me. I think there's 6. And there was a ton of characters, and you can build your own character and follow it through a storyline to make it better and build it your own. Whether you want to hit further, hit more accurately, if you wanted to be able to, because they also added a bunch of different game modes. There is timed modes, there are head-to-heads at the same time. There are superpowers to do all your different fun abilities like you would in, say, Mario, like in Smash and other stuff. So I think this is really neat to me that this game, they're going to put more effort into it. They're releasing the first DLC, and it's only a month after it released. So we're getting Toadette, we're getting New Donk City, we're getting competitive now, and in competitive you get rewards for competing. So there's a reason why people want to go play multiplayer now. If you get an A rating, you get Yoshi skins for the game. So now you get 3 new colors of Yoshis. So I think it really goes to show that there's a lot of labor of love being put into some of Nintendo's games, and it's not like they're just pumping out the same title over and over again. We saw Super Smash. That came out, that was excellent. It had a lot of content. It wasn't just like, for what they did with the Switch and the Wii U. We actually are seeing Nintendo go, maybe we should take more time with our games.
Right. What's your take on
reading
this, Josh?
about the video game crash of 1983 and how Nintendo's Famicom has essentially saved the American video game market from itself. I'm still convinced that one of these days, when our game industry is sucking, Nintendo is going to come save the day again with one of their games and consoles. Because for some reason, we tend to get a lot of things wrong with our games industry. But I've always had a lot of confidence that Nintendo at least would do the right thing,
Yeah,
After
I feel
Mario
as
Golf,
though...
let's try staying on top of it. Mario Golf is a fun game. I played it at your house, Roger, and I kind of wish that I had the game myself so I can play competitive multiplayer with you. Get better at golf, because I kind of suck at the game. But
it's fun.
It's fun.
It was super fun. And I think seeing the first DLC this close to it releasing just goes to show how much we might get out of this game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so hopefully once my girlfriend moves here at the end of the month, well, first week of September, I should say, I'll have my Switch back. So hopefully then I can buy this game and experience it, because it looked like a lot of fun. When it was first announced, I was like, yo, that's dope. I was super excited for, like, you hit the ball and it's like a race. It's like a race as well too. So like, I want to try that mode specifically. But hearing that you can create your own player and stuff like that, like, I'm down for that kind of stuff, because I enjoy it when I play it in 2K or Madden and stuff like that, the realistic sports games. So to see that in a Mario golf game, create your own player, make him better and stuff like that, that's intriguing to me. And if the story is any as good as what you're talking about, why not? I want to give it a try.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. And so I think we should move on now to another Japanese group, PlayStation. PlayStation Plus this week bought Crunchyroll. What are your thoughts, Josh?
Well, I'm actually pretty happy that
Really?
it would increase access to Crunchyroll. I think. I don't. See, I have a PlayStation childhood, a long background PlayStation.
I
Up
think we all
until
do here.
PlayStation 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big PlayStation guy. But, uh, but I don't own a PlayStation anymore since those days. So unfortunately, I could not benefit at the moment from the Crunchyroll subscription. But I'm a big anime fan, though.
Mhm.
As in, like, I like the art style and stuff. I think that it's potentially good news. It could be bad news as well. You know, it kind of depends. I don't know if it's going to ultimately make access to Crunchyroll easier or harder, or if it will end up, changing what they offer over at Crunchyroll.
Mhm.
So I feel a bit ambiguous about it at the moment.
Okay. How about you, Vic? Where do you stand on this whole acquisition?
Mhm.
Did it surprise you?
Well, I was kind of in the loop with this a while ago because like they last year they put in a bid to buy Crunchyroll from AT&T for 1.17 billion dollars, and now here we are 8 months later, and it's official now. Like they're signing the paperwork. That's all transitioning, and now they put out a plan to potentially incorporate Crunchyroll into the PlayStation Plus subscription. So I think what they're doing here is trying to draw more people to buy that subscription. Like they're trying to have their foot up or their edge up on, say, Game Pass per se by adding like additional content to their own subscription. So that's cool. I don't think it's going to affect, like, say, you, because you were worried about them potentially like messing up your subscription because you don't want to have PlayStation Plus to watch your shows on Crunchyroll. So like hopefully they keep them separate, but you can buy them together like how Game Pass and Xbox Live went with at one point. So hopefully they keep that structure. I've never used Crunchyroll, so I kind of really watch a lot of anime, but this is interesting. PlayStation's making moves, and this was pretty big. That's a lot of money to spend on an anime platform, more or less, almost $2 billion. So
Yeah.
it's big.
No, I'm kind of with you in the same boat here. I think this is PlayStation going, hey, Microsoft, we're coming for you. We're gonna try and build our platform because it sucks. Like, it's garbage. We have Netflix as a partner. We've just bought Crunchyroll. We're going to corner the anime market. What do you got?
Right.
And I think that's going to really help to hold their Japanese markets
Hmm.
over Microsoft. It'll help keep Microsoft out of their home turf because that's the biggest issue right now. Microsoft makes it into the home turf of Sony. We're looking at, inner turmoil there. Sony's going to lose its market share that it's guaranteed.
Right. Yeah, I actually didn't think about that too. With the whole, they just partnered. They're going to be partnered with Netflix, and then they got the partnership with this, and then we can't forget about they own a lot of Sony Entertainment, like movie wise. Like they own a lot of movies and IPs that way. So like they're going to be known for like the media entertainment now, like for having Netflix and Crunchyroll and their Sony movies.
We're here to show you the cinematic world. That's what our games are. And I've always felt that PlayStation had more cinematic games to me. Their games were more beautiful for the longest time, and Microsoft was always more the experimental. What the fuck can we do today?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Microsoft
And
was
and
known
I
for being
yeah
the first person shooter platform, while
yeah
PlayStation was known for having the solo single player the driven
exactly.
stories and stuff like that. So
Whereas
pretty much.
Nintendo is more like, hey, look, we've got a touch screen now. Hey, look, we have a remote
Yeah.
sensor control. All this
Yeah.
stuff.
I agree. It's always been kind of like Sony's. They're trying to stick to their wheelhouse, I think, and they're trying to beat Microsoft at their own streaming game because you can. For them to go out and try to build a game library to match Microsoft's and beat their price, it's going to be really difficult. But for them to go instead of that, we've got free games that are better than Microsoft's free games. Take those, but now you also get anime.
And the thing is, it's
And
like
like,
perfect timing. Anime has
yeah.
blown up over the past couple of years as well.
Oh,
Like it
dude.
went from like, oh, you're a geek, you're a nerd. What are you doing? What you're
Oh,
watching
yeah.
this crappy stuff? To,
You
yo, did you
weeaboo.
see
Yeah,
that?
like I wore this today. Like I wore this shirt today. I wore another anime shirt earlier, and like I was going around Hershey Park. I'm like, yo, I love that show. I love that show. I like that show. Hey, everyone's wearing anime shirts. Why is it normal now?
It's
I
too
got made fun of
mainstream
for
now.
this. So I think it's going to help them to keep their market share and maybe pull in some more people, because it guarantees them money now. Because if they have Crunchyroll, they're going to make the money that Crunchyroll's already making. So they know Crunchyroll on its own is going to rake in money for them, and that's fine. And Crunchyroll also, don't forget, is an original animator now. There is the Crunchyroll Studio. Oh, thanks, Spooky Crew. Spooky Crew says, don't worry, I'll still make fun of you. And I know he will. It's awesome. Every session, every Wednesday. So I think this is definitely a very... and there's Nightmare Gore with same. So I definitely agree here that this is the move that Sony needs to make. They can't compete with the game library at this point. I think it's a useless thing to do, but Netflix is still going to try it. So, you know, at this point, Microsoft may actually see a run for its money before the end of the year or in 2022. Microsoft may actually have stiff competition again, and it may heat up the market.
Right. But that's the good thing, man. I love this competition that I'm seeing. Like, Xbox is making moves, PlayStation is making moves, Nintendo's making moves, and it's only going to drive like productivity and creativity as well, because like if one person's doing good, you're like, oh man, how can I outdo them? And like I can see this, like they're really trying to be better up. How can I one up you? So and the thing is, like, they're not even doing like the same kind of moves. Like Xbox went out and bought like $1.5 billion fucking game developers, while Sony's over here buying like entertainment platforms and shit like that. So they're like two different things. So now guess what? I'm going to have both of them in my living room. I need my Xbox for my games, but I'm going to need PlayStation for my entertainment.
I definitely agree. You know, shout out to Disney Princess. Hello. And then I got to agree. This is their way of saying we're going to give Microsoft some competition, but we both can exist. We can coexist, and we'll both make money because people are going to pay. Like, if they start tying in Netflix subscriptions and Crunchyroll subscription with PSN, money. They're literally printing money. Okay? I'm just saying. They're printing money at this point.
Right.
So, I definitely agree. This is a step in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. But this is good news all the way around. Like, there's no way about it. No doubt about it.
I just hope that Crunchyroll doesn't lose its direction, because it's booming now, and they're making some weird business decisions over the past year and a half. But honestly, Crunchyroll still is like one of the #1 places for me to go grab simulcast of anime. You know, so I really, really hope that they don't ruin Crunchyroll for me, because that...
Hopefully they're not EA.
Yeah, exactly. You know, EA comes knocking on your door, you're like, well, we had a good run. But moving on here, talking about leaks and spoilers. Call of Duty 2021 title leaked. It is now called Call of Duty Vanguard. And we hear that there may be a beta coming. Could you enlighten us on that, Vic?
Yeah, so it kind of got leaked from the data miners digging into like season 5 or 6, whatever. See, I think it's 5 that they're on right now in Warzone, because there was like imagery and promotions and stuff like baked into the code already, because they're about to... well, I'm gonna catch everybody up. They're sending out teaser stuff to a bunch of content creators on YouTube and Twitch channels, and people are all getting like these bits and pieces of like information and videos, and like they're piecing it together and figure out like what's going on and whatnot. And they got all like from different parts of the world, because it's this game's set in World War II. So like you have like the Russians, the Americans, and Germany and stuff like that. So like it's pretty cool to see how their Call of Duty is always known for their great teasing marketing schemes. Like they do it perfectly.
Yeah, I think the thing that really matters here is they're baking these promotions into their already existing material. It's free real estate. It's literally free real estate. You are not paying for the billboard in Warzone. It's free.
Right, exactly. So, and it'll be pretty cool though how like I'm pretty sure that they'll incorporate the announcement of the official announcement of Vanguard, since it's not officially announced but it's been leaked. But I'm pretty sure it'll be baked into Warzone, some kind of event. Hopefully they do it good this year, because last year's was pretty terrible.
And I think this is definitely going to be not really a problem for them. They're like, oh, it got spoiled, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't fucking care.
Right.
They put it in the code. They already pre-gamed it, and they're like, people will find it. People data mine all the time. It happens. So I definitely think this may have not been an accident that it got leaked.
At this
That it
point,
got
no.
leaked. As one of our favorite guests, Tubi, says, leaking is just marketing. It's marketing with a new name.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just like, oh, we accidentally leaked it. Whoops.
It gives you more hype. It gives you
Right.
more hype.
But But the circle back though is like some of the leaks are showcasing like an upcoming beta. So the fact that we haven't even been shown what this game is even called yet, technically, it hasn't even been announced. When Call of Duties yearly were always revealed back in April or May at the latest, and now here we are in August, and the game's going to probably release in October or November. Like we're getting closer and closer every year to like the release date by the time they actually fully announce the game. Granted, because like we already know Call of Duty is a yearly release, but this to me is crazy to think this game is coming out in 2-3 months and haven't heard anything. But they're going to be like, "Hey, the game's coming out in a couple months, but check out the beta tomorrow." That's basically how it's going to play out here soon. So that'll be pretty cool. I just hope the beta is fun, enjoyable. I'm not looking forward to it honestly because it's going to be a World War II game. I'm not a fan of World War II games. I'm a billion times past that. I hated the past 6 Call of Duties that were World War II. That's all of them. And Battlefield 1 and 5 were awful to me because they were set in that same time era with World War I, World War II. And guess what? This is going to be the year of Battlefield. I'm telling you.
I've already told you that. I already said it. When I said Battlefield got released and teased, I was like, here it is. I called it a month. I called it a month before they released the teaser for Battlefield. I was like, here it's coming. Battlefield is going to say, Call of Duty, you fucked up for too long. Here's a game. And let's be honest, they're returning to the formula that did work. Because there are times where big companies are like, hey, we're going to experiment, try to do something new, like an indie game, and it flops. And I think yeah, it's the year of Battlefield.
What's your take on that, Josh? Josh, I know you used to be big into Call of Duty, but don't probably play it as much now, but are you a World War II kind of Call of Duty, or did you like more of a Modern Warfare or Black Ops?
I really played a lot of Black Ops, especially Black Ops 2. Especially that game's multiplayer.
Okay.
So I've always been more of a like Cold War guy myself, into like studying the Cold War, and I'd like to play more games based around that. I understand one of the most recent Call of Duties is actually based specifically around the Cold War.
Yeah.
World War II, I think it's an important subject for people to, to try and understand and do research in. But I'm not sure how much I would prefer to play a game based around it. I definitely like reading a lot more about it, a lot more than I like playing it. And Hearts of Iron 4 is still a pretty good World War II strategy game. So
that's more enjoyable than Call of Duty. Like the last
World War II Call of Duty game I remember playing was probably World at War.
Yeah, and that was okay to me. That's where zombies came from,
Yeah.
There was a lot of good stuff in Call of Duty World at War.
Yeah.
But I think returning to that is going to... let's be honest, I think Call of Duty's stale in general.
Right.
I don't think they can milk it forever.
Yeah.
My thing is, like, Call of Duty's going to have to adapt eventually. But before I touch on that topic, Call of Duty, like, last World War II game was WW2. And it released back in 2017 by none other than Sledgehammer Games, who's also making this year's game. And it wasn't received too well. It was an awful game. Zombies was okay. The story mode was okay. Like it was nothing fun. I played that game for like 2 months and I was like, yep, not playing it no more.
I mean, the same thing with Cold War.
Right, exactly. I mean, if I didn't like Cold War, I enjoyed Zombies on Cold War. Me and you both enjoy Zombies on Cold War. Warzone was fun until the hackers and cheaters started becoming a thing. But it's just like, eventually that has to stop. They have to innovate and whatnot. But that's what I'm going to talk about now is Call of Duty has to make the adjustment. Like, they can't keep relying on Warzone, even because Warzone is going to get burnt out. It is becoming stale day by day. Less and less people are starting to play it.
I mean, that's for all of the battle royales.
Yeah,
they're all getting stale.
But that's what I'm saying. Like Call of Duty has to innovate, and like they've been using the same scheme for since 2006, 2007, or whatever. It's time for something new. Like, you might as well just make a live service Call of Duty game, because like you don't need to release a new type of Call of Duty game every year and change shit that people don't want to be changed and whatnot. Like, there's some things that work and some
Like
things
the
that don't work.
bodysuits? You don't like bodysuits that allow you to jump and grapple
No.
and
Wow, cool.
Stick that in Titanfall and Halo. I'll go do
Yeah.
that in that game. But
Yeah.
I'd rather have boots on the ground. What Call of Duty is fun. Like, if it, like, Modern Warfare 1, 2, 3, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Call of Duty Ghosts was even fun. Like, all of those games were, to its roots, really enjoyable to play. But once you got into Black Ops 3 and 4 and Advanced Warfare with the exosuits, it wasn't fun. And then every World at War game was pretty garbage to me. I mean, World at War was kind of enjoyable, I guess. But nonetheless, Call of Duty needs to innovate and do something different, or it will crumble.
Yeah, I kind of agree. At this point, you know, Activision Blizzard is going to be Activision Blizzard. They're formulaic,
It's
and
the
it's just
overall.
it's the end all be all. Honestly, I would be surprised if Activision Blizzard didn't, kind of look at maybe selling out and just getting the fuck out, and then might see the end of Call of Duty, which wouldn't be a terrible thing to me. Honestly, I think there's other things out there that's better, a lot better.
Right.
But I think we should move on here from Call of Duty. Going back to another game that has been around for time
Ever.
immemorial. GTA! GTA, instead of
Yay.
GTA 6, we're getting a remaster of 3, 4, and 5.
Right.
Or,
GTA 3,
no,
Vice City,
3,
and San Andreas.
Sorry, 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. So we're getting a remaster of 1, 2, and 3.
This is super frustrating.
What? Yeah.
It's super frustrating because, like, GTA, I know, like, I get it. Like, I get the whole purpose of, like, why they're not doing it, because they're still riding the success of GTA 5. It's still, like, the best-selling game. It keeps breaking records.
Third most selling game. Most selling game in the world, GTA 5.
It's crazy to think that. And that's why I'm like, they're probably like, yeah, we don't need a GTA 6. And I was just like, so why release a GTA trilogy remaster? So now you're going to take the people away from GTA 5 to go back to games that you aren't going to make money from other than buying the copies of it. Because, get it, GTA 5 makes a lot of their money from the in-game purchases of the cash that's in the game and stuff like that. So
yeah,
they're going to lose out on that. I think if they push GTA 6, they think GTA 5 is really well, they got to make GTA 6 before the next generation consoles come out.
I think at this point, Rockstar is stuck in a rut, and I don't think we're going to see GTA 6 until 2023, if at all.
I agree. Unfortunately. And even then, it might even just be a teaser and not even come out until like 2026 or something.
Yeah, because let's be honest here, they're making buku cash off of the Shark Cash Shop.
Yep.
It is still a highly played game. It is every month or two, it will come back as one of Twitch's highest viewed games as well, because people are just using it as VR chat without VR.
Right. It's more or less becoming a platform now at this point.
Yeah, it's just a platform. And
if that's the case, then stick to it. Keep make it an evolving map. Like, change like Fortnite or whatever. Like, you can implement that new structure to GTA. That would work.
Yeah. Yeah, or give us new DLC that just whole new zones. But I'm definitely upset, but I don't know what chat thinks here, but I don't really care. I can play 1, 2, and 3 on an emulator. Screw it. I know it's illegal, but
All right. I mean, I guess it's supposed to look good with the updated visuals and whatnot, so I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, my biggest question is how faithful to the originals will the remasters be?
Yeah. No, that's a good question. Are we going to get a Halo Combat Evolved, or are we going to get Halo Combat Evolved Master Chief Collection? Or are we going to get a Halo Combat Master Chief Collection without being able to go back and see the old graphics, Are we going to get old graphics, new graphics? We getting polygons, we getting crisp, clean characters, we get new voice actings, just the old voice acting just put back into the game. I hope it's a faithful rendition of the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can hope for.
Yeah, now it's just time to wait and see how successful
my eye is irritated here.
Oh, you're good. But yeah, well, it's just a wait and see game until we see some demos of it.
Right.
Um,
Well, we do got another topic here that I know both of you guys are probably really excited for. Victoria 3 will let you conquer the world from the negotiable table. This is another, I'm assuming, a strategy game and
yeah.
whatnot.
So
So,
we talked about a few games actually in the pre-stream lobby. So Paradox is about to release their new game in probably the next 6 months, which is pretty upcoming for Paradox, because they're really kind of releasing a lot of teasers and putting a lot of stuff out there, because their games actually release pretty quick from when they announce the release date. You get like a month typically, and then the game's out. So right now it says to be decided or TBA, but once they announce it, you're gonna probably have a month, and then the game will be out. Victoria 3. The last Victoria game we got, I think 10 years ago, if not 15.
Victoria 2, yeah.
Yeah. So Victoria 3 is coming out in the near future, and the game is built in the late industrial era, right before the modern. Like it goes from 1800s, I think 1776 to roughly the 1900s. So it's going to be a very weird time period that we don't really talk about, except for a few times in American history and stuff, where we talk about like the meat packing plants and the squalor and the leftovers of industrialization and the innovation of cars and things like that. So
And the Civil War.
And the Civil War, that too. So we're going to have to deal with a game that includes the Civil War for America as one of its major plot pieces. Because, like, for example, EU4, Europa Universalis, 4, that actually includes the French Revolution, the destruction of the Ottomans, who then eventually become Turkey. We see the end of British colonization, really, or the beginning and the end, kind of, during that time period, where Spain and Portugal take over, the post-American creation. So we're going to get that kind of up to World War II, from the end of the Renaissance to World War II kind of game, which is a lot of the beginning of globalization. Oh, you exist, the end of Japanese, what do they call it? Where people couldn't go to Japan, for example.
Sakoku.
Yeah. So the end of
country.
During the period where Japan was all self-centralized and they were closed off to the rest of the world. We look at the time before China split in half, and we had the communists versus the socialists. So we're going to see a lot of cool time periods, and I think Victoria 3 is awesome because you could just start taking over the world without having to shed a single drop of blood. That's something that's almost unheard of in a video game.
Yeah. The thing that I really like about Paradox games, such as Victoria 3 and Europa Universalis, is that I see them potentially as good history teaching tools. Like, I've learned a lot of history just playing those games. They tend to have random events occur based on real things that have occurred in history.
Yeah.
Aside from, like, the Civil War and the Mexican-American War, which are two things that occur in the Victorian era, which Vicky 3 is based off of. So, I think it's pretty exciting that they're finally releasing a sequel, essentially, to Victoria 2, because, let me be honest, I couldn't really get into Victoria 2. It's just a lot of different mechanics, and the UI is outdated. The 3D graphics just aren't really there for that game. So I think it'd be nice to have a Hearts of Iron style 3D map in place with minis and stuff, as they do in all modern Paradox games.
Yeah, I think Hearts of Iron 4 and EU4 are really good games, and if we get a quality game like those for Victoria, the series, I think at this point with CK3, Victoria 4, or Victoria 3, EU4, and HOI 4, we're gonna have a really good collection from Paradox, like a really good
Oh yeah.
From early medieval to modern era. I think this is really going to be a fun game, and I'm excited to hear that you can just win the game without shedding a drop of blood. The last time I did that was I played Civilization 4, and you could slowly take over your opponents by people just adopting your culture because it was cooler than theirs.
Yeah,
That's
I
pretty
think
cool.
that's pretty insane.
Yeah, so
I
I'm
bet you
very
can do
excited.
that in Vicky 3 now. So
hmm So last topic that we have here, just announced this week. Teaser,
Yeah.
leak, trailer, whatever. So, new Valorant map, Canyon. We don't have any images other than a single player card. What are your thoughts? You excited for a new map, or do you think, we don't need it yet in the game? Do you think we're getting too many maps in Valorant? Are we going to see the new champ with the new map? What's your thoughts, Vic?
I'm excited. I am. I wish it had more maps. I wish this game had like 10 to 12 maps, but we have like 6 or whatever we're at right now.
Yeah.
So it's just like this is good to add to the list, but with adding maps, though, you run into the point where is this going to be the only map we play a lot now because they want that at like higher in rotation because it's a new map, or are we never going to play it because they don't up it? So we're going to run into that new map like never. So what I wish that Valorant would add is like a map selection, like Call of Duty did. Like you would vote on like it would give you like 2 maps and
Agreed.
then like a random one as well. So you could choose one of those. If you didn't like either of those, you would hit random, as opposed to
Or,
having to not choose your character and then get like a warning and stuff like that. Like you're running into issues that you shouldn't have to run into because some
yeah,
maps are not as enjoyable as others, and you may don't want to play that map again. Maybe you played Icebox 3 times in a row. I don't want to play Icebox a 4th time. Didn't want to play it 3 times, but I can't not pick a character because then we gotta wait an hour because I got an hour ban because I didn't pick a character. So it's like you gotta add some kind of feature for that.
yeah, I kind of agree. I think a playlist selection would be really helpful where you're like, here's the maps that me and my party want to play, or your party chooses their own set of maps, and that you have to choose like say 5 of them, and 2 of them, or you can select 2 that you don't. I think it with a game like this, like you've got no picks and bans right now, so all champs are open to play on.
Mhm.
And it feels like I keep playing Breeze a bunch. Like I want a new map. I want to play Ascent. I don't play Ascent. The last time I played Ascent was probably 2 weeks ago. It feels like, I want to see all the maps all the time. So I think with more maps being added in, Valorant and Riot's map selection is they said they updated the formula about like 6 months ago, but it really doesn't feel like it sometimes. Because I remember the days of us just loading into Bind, and the only thing I could hear in my team chat was fucking Bind. Because that's all we would play. And I definitely agree. I think this is going to suck when this map comes in, because if it's good or bad, like Breeze and Icebox, it's
We're gonna play
definitely
it a
going to
lot.
be the map we're going to probably end up playing a lot. Yeah.
Right.
And I'm really hoping to see this new character that they teased 2 months ago, 3 months ago now.
hmm
He's like a sniper character or something. I want to see this new character. I think KO was fun, but he really didn't shift the meta much because he's not really played right now.
Right.
The only one who I really see it is my teammates playing KO. I don't even see him in the game anymore. We still get those Reynas, Jets, these core characters that everyone has to play. So hopefully this map maybe shifts up the meta a little bit, because I know Breeze and Icebox did it. We've got a whole different experience now. So let's go to comments here from the chat. Disney says, do Valorant maps have a bearing on player comp? I'm wondering if they're making it more compatible for 5 players instead of 6. So I think with Valorant, the maps do matter. This game has always been a 5-player game for Valorant, and with them adding new maps, it does change the composition of teams because some characters become more or less useful.
Mhm.
So, like Sage, for example, her wall is a fixed width; it doesn't go very far, and it's nothing like let's say nothing like Viper or Phoenix, whose walls are a little longer. Sage has a lot harder time controlling parts in the map. So is it really who you want to be playing sometimes?
Mhm.
Or you've got people like Breach. or Brimstone, I mean. Brimstone, he's got a range to his kit, so you have to almost be into sight to be able to smoke out or nuke the back of the site you want to go onto. So it almost makes it hard to play that character at this point, and they've fallen out of rotation because they're just not useful. So I think the big thing we're going to deal with here is I hope the map changes the meta yet again so that map adds new ways to play. But I also believe that we're getting to the point where we have so many maps, but you don't even get to see half of them because you're stuck with 2 maps. So I'm hoping maybe here soon we get to pick bans for characters, or we'll get to see, a map selection screen where we get to choose what we want to do. But I definitely think this new map, I'm always excited for new content, especially in a free game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely looking forward to it because I think it's coming out soon too. Because I think it comes with the start of the next season or whatever they call them, like episodes, I think, and acts. So because this one's about to end in like 10 days, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think it's something like that. So hopefully we see it soon. But this is pretty cool. That
We'll probably get the teaser the day or two before the act ends, probably sometime this week, right before they get ready to launch it. They'll give us probably a new rotation where we just play that map if we wish. Maybe they'll announce a new character, and then the character plus map may come out same time or spread apart like they did with Sky and Breeze. So we'll see what happens.
Right. Nonetheless, I'm super excited for it because I'm getting really big into Valorant. Even collectively as a team, all of our players are getting better, including Bruno. Bruno has been getting significantly better. Dom has been getting better. I've grown and got better. Roger's consistently playing good. So it's just like we're overall collectively
playing good. Get the fuck out of here.
You've been good ever since I started, so I don't know anything different. So, but nonetheless, that's enough of our gaming topics so this week. So let's move on to our deep freeze moment of the week. The question is, what is the saddest death in a video game, and why? I'm gonna go to you, Josh.
Well, this is a hard one to answer because I played so many games that, quite frankly, it's hard to say if any one in particular has made a significant impact on me. But Roger, I'd like you guys to try mentioning some games I might have played where somebody important dies, to try to give me an idea of who, because my memory isn't that good, even though I played a lot.
Halo Reach, Halo ODST, Halo Reach, Halo ODST, Halo. There's a bunch of deaths in Halo.
People die in games a lot.
Yeah, but like for me, I wasn't always attached to these characters. Halo Reach was one of the ones that, like for me, for example, that was a big one. To like the end of the game, you're like, oh, I just have to survive. Wait, why isn't it ending? And then just watching yourself die in the very end there, I think to me that was one of the best ways to end a game. Last of Us 2, that one, like reaching out here to Disney in chat. Last of Us 2, we watched a character we loved. We loved watching this character in Last of Us, only to boot up Last of Us 2 and watch him get executed like an animal. Spooky Crew says, Mordin Souls in Mass Effect. There are so many good games out there that have these characters that they want you to fall in love with, and then at the end they go, we're gonna fucking kill him. We're gonna break your fucking heart, and you're gonna love it. Like for me, I played Last Remnant. It's a game by Square Enix. Square Enix is notorious for killing characters. They're like, man, we want you to love this guy, or we want you to feel good, and then we want to rip your heart out at the last little bit. Like Last Remnant, your character finds out, spoiler alert, this is a 15-year-old game, okay? Last Remnant, the end of the game, you find out your character is actually a remnant. He is actually one of these machines, one of these ancient technologies that have been brought to life and helped serve people. Well, your character destroys the thing that powers all remnants in the world. Therefore, to stop the bad guy, he has to kill the thing that keeps him alive, killing himself in the process. And your character's just like, it's a no-brainer. I've got to save the world. I've got to save everyone. I'm going to kill myself to save everyone. So he destroys the thing, keeping himself alive and everything else alive. Final Fantasy X, that was a big one. End of the game. Is Titus dead? You know, if you didn't play Final Fantasy X-2, you know, to you, Titus is dead. Or you find out all these other characters are dying. You know, you're watching people disappear. I think, to me, it was sad. Or like Nier had, you know, you
You can go on.
you can kill the characters. You can kill characters in Nier, and you're like, I feel bad. I feel so bad. In Nier Replicant, you play Ending B, and you're like, wow, I'm the bad guy. The bad guy here. I'm the villain. And I felt like they were all the villains. So I killed everyone saying they deserve to die. But there's so many good games out there that have these saddest deaths that just make you... Like, I almost teared up on stream the other day. I was like, man, I'm the fucking bad guy, and I don't want to be. Like, I feel bad for killing these people, but you can't progress the story unless you brutally murder them. So how about you, Vic?
Yeah, so this one here kind of hits home just because, like, I'm a huge Call of Duty fan, and this is back when the story actually fucking mattered. So in Modern Warfare 2, when Roach and Ghost get executed by who you thought was one of your good guys, General Shepard, when he literally just walks up and just goes, shoots that 44 caliber bullet through Ghost's head, one of the most iconic characters in Call of Duty history, and then like takes you and because you're playing as Roach, so he takes you and Ghost and throw him into this like pit more or less, and then sets both bodies on fire, and you're watching this whole perspective from him, and you're just like, bro, we just lost like two of the most badass army, I forget what, Rangers that ever could live. And to think that like you seeing that happen too, like getting betrayed like that, it was like one of the biggest betrayals ever in gaming history, to see that and just watch how that like truly affects. And yeah, exactly what Dom said. So when Soap died in Modern Warfare 3, that was heart-wrenching too. I was like, yo, I fell in love with this character. He was such a badass. And it's just so many memories from that game, and it's just like to see all of that happen. It's just like, those are some characters that I actually really felt attached to.
Yeah. And here's one of my favorites that I didn't even think about talking about shooter games, Gears of War.
Yeah.
How many times do they kill characters and you're like, wow, this is fucked up. Like Carmine. Carmine's like, hey, sir, I'm here to help. And he gets his fucking head obliterated and you're like, no, Carmine, I liked you. Or like Dom, when he finds his wife. Dom in game, he opens up the thing and sees his wife, and he has to shoot his fucking wife in the head. And you have to watch him kill his wife, and you're like, what the fuck?
Or when actually Dom dies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's just crazy. Or even, like, I'm looking at a list here, like, just thinking about it, like, The Witcher 3, Vesemir dies. Like, there's so many deaths in games, man, that are just, like, it really, you get so attached to, and they go, dead. F's in the chat for Dom.
Yeah. F's in the chat for Dom. But yeah, I think I've got to agree with Nightmare Gore earlier. If you don't like anyone, though, you won't get attached to the game. And I think that's really important, you know? There are so many games out there that, like, or movies, or, like, early anime in the 90s. Nobody ever dies. Nobody, okay? Like, they kill Frieza. Frieza comes back. We didn't really kill him. Oh, we have to kill Goku. He comes back. Like, games, they never really killed anyone either. Like, you fucking throw Bowser into lava, but he's alright. Okay, we're not going to kill Bowser. And then you're playing modern games, and you're like, who can we kill next? Alright, let's just
how many
start wiping out the cast one by one. Yeah, like, in The Last of Us 2, you go around and your character walks in, you get a split perspective, you play as two different characters, and one of the characters, you come in and you're just like, fuck you! And you just start shooting people that, like, as you play the other character, you're like, no, you just killed a pregnant lady. Like, you're just like, I just killed a pregnant lady, what am I doing with myself?
Yes, but that's like, those kind of things make games fun and enjoyable, like when they actually have meaning, and like being able to like connect with certain characters in a way that you do get attached. Like if the game's not made properly, you're not going to get attached to these characters. You're like, I don't give a fuck. But like if a game's made good and you get attached to the character and then they die, you're just like, you just ripped something out of me.
Yeah.
Because I just
But
love that
then
character, and now I no longer can ever see that character again.
Yeah, and like one of the other things to me is like playing games where you turn on permadeath. Like this is something for you, Josh. Permadeath, like in Fire Emblem.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever had a
Big
character
deal.
and you just watch them die, and you're like, I'm an hour into this mission, so you revert in an hour's
It's over,
time worth
yeah.
of progress just to get that one fucking character back because you're like, I don't want to lose him. I like this character because like in Fire Emblem Three Houses, they're dead. In the second half of the game,
Yeah.
they die. Oh, and like, and we're not even going to talk
There
about
was this-
anime deaths that actually make me feel sad. We're just talking about how they don't want it. But yeah, I think
Fire
this.
Emblem Awakening. This one character, she's like, I think her name starts with an E.
Mhm.
She's like the queen of your kingdom, peaceful kingdom and stuff. She dies. She falls to her death at one point, and that made me pretty sad because like we don't have guidance anymore. We don't really have a leader. We have to do it for her, essentially. So that made me pretty sad when she had was murdered in the game.
Yeah, and you know, I gotta do a shout out here about permadeath and stuff. Nightmare Gore's right. I've actually reverted saves of games because Major Tomcat's a character in Wasteland 3, and I've watched him die more than once and gone, yep, we gotta go back. Or I've lost the bird called Polly, and Polly is like a shit-talking bird who, you know, tells people they smell worse than schmegma, and I'm like, I want to hear that in every fight. And he dies, I'm like, hey, sorry, Nightmare, we've got to revert and go back because we're not losing that character. I love these characters.
All right, and that's why the reason why they become the saddest deaths in gaming history. But nonetheless, I think it's time to close out this week's episode. We've been going on for about hour and 36 minutes here. So, any last comments or remarks before we close it out here?
No, I just want to thank our viewers for coming out and chatting with us today because chat today has been super active and it's been super fun to talk with y'all. And Josh, I want to thank you for coming out and joining us today. It's been really fun actually to have your perspective.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me again.
Yeah,
of course. Definitely want to thank all the live viewers and anybody who does check us out later on YouTube. If you do want to check these episodes out live, it's every Sunday. We start at 7 p.m. Like clockwork. So come check us out for sure. Also, make sure you follow us on Twitch. We're getting closer and closer to our goal of hitting 50. So we would love for any followers on there, or even subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. But Josh, thanks for coming on to the show for sure. Definitely really appreciate it. Where can we find you? We're plugging some social medias or links or anything you want.
Yeah, Lunatic Yoshi on Twitch, man. I'm not streaming now, but you will find me streaming eventually, though. I do have some games I really want to throw out there. So, yeah, anybody want to follow me or just look at what I'm doing, go to Lunatic Yoshi on Twitch.
I also hear you have a website or way to
very artist oriented. I draw and stuff. I also like to share my ideas on like games I'd like to make because a lot of the games that I've seen have really inspired me. A lot of the indie game designers in particular, I think of Notch from Minecraft and Toby Fox, Undertale, Zun, Toho, and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're
Okay. Do you want to plug your website at all?
Yeah, sure. My Wix site, for anybody that's interested, I have a Wix, and it is Yoshi Rocks at YoshiRocks. Give me a second. YoshiRocks.wixsite.com.
Okay.
I'll just put a link in the chat because the O in Yoshi Rocks, the last O in Yoshi Rocks is a 0. So
alrighty. Well,
let me just plug that and make it easier for everyone.
Give us a link to it and we can add it to the YouTube description as well.
Yeah, definitely. But Roger, where can we find you at?
You can see my name down below. I'm on twitch.tv/lunatic_oblivion.
Yeah, you can check me out at Twitter at Mr. Never Chillin _. Xbox is X Never Space Chillin. Want a game party up or anything like that, hit me up. Facebook is Vic Brubacher. Questions, concerns, you want to come on the show as well. Any one of my shows, because I do have my talk show with Vic. That's every other Monday. So definitely hit me up for that. My personal Twitch channel is twitch.tv/Mr. Never Chillin. Been streaming a lot here on this channel specifically, X the _chill_zone X. For now, just so we can grow our community. So definitely be on the lookout for any future streams like that. But definitely want to thank everyone again. But until next time, peace.
Yep. Peace.